Hi, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. I'm all ready to show you another Halloween journal. I don't know if I'll get another one done this year, but I really wanted to get started on this one. And I was hoping to get it done sooner before the tariffs kicked in for my American friends. However, I just couldn't get it done in time, but please know when Americans see the price in my Etsy shop, the tariffs are included in that price. You won't be getting a bill for the tariffs. And if you are outside of America, I am from Canada, and you would like to purchase any of my journals online from my Etsy shop, please email me directly. My email is in the comments below. So, when I first got a hold of this here from the Snow White and Seven Dwarfs 1938 souvenir painting book, I knew this had to be the cover of a Halloween themed junk journal. So this is the witch from Snow White when she's stealthily creeping through the forest with her basket of poison apples. And I put this beautiful vintage pendant here on the side here. I loved the dark, deep colors of it. And this is an interior spine here that I made into an embellishment. I've got some trim, some vintage crochet down the side, and I am very excited to show you the inside of this unusual book because it is longer in the width than in the height, which is the opposite. Usually my books are like this. But the reason this one is it is a typing book from the 40s, modern typing, and they always flipped up this way so that you could have them as sort of like a triangle on your desk as you were learning to type. So let's go through here. And again, everything in here I've been collecting for the past year because it's all Halloween themed and it is spectacular. So I'm just going to zoom out a bit because it is wider than I'm used to. So here we go. This here is from a children's book from the 1940s. That's sweet. And this is a plate from the very early 1900s. It's got its original little tape there from a rip. And that is Sleepy Hollow. Of course, we all know the story of Sleepy Hollow and the Headless Horseman. This is an amazing plate, also from the early 1900s. Look at that owl. Like, could he be any meaner and angry looking? Perfect, right, for a Halloween journal. And then in here, again, this is about the turn of the century, 1900. And we've got a black cat from a book named Toots. Isn't that amazing? Look at that. Perfect for a Halloween theme. And then this page here is from the 1930s. And we've got a wizard and a black cat there. So lots of mystery and magic there. This is from 1959, here from an Ideals book. And great Halloween picture on the back as well. There's another one of those wonderful 1940s. Look at these children all dressed up and ready to go out for Halloween there. And then I flip it over and we've got a 1950s sticker here that a child has put in her sticker book on nature. And we've got those owls. Look how spooky they look too. Just wonderful. And then this here is from 1939. A really different kind of graphic art here. And I love this style, but we've got the spider there. They're running from the spider. Put antique paper on the back to write your own Halloween notes. And this book here is from, it's called Highlights book from the 60s. We've got the little pumpkin there and the Halloween colors here. And there's lots more. This also is from the 50s. Aloysius and his Halloween trick. And I've added paper on the back. This is from my book house from 56. Got lots of black trim in here. This is from a early 1900s player piano roll box that I cut down into tags. And this is a vintage piece here. We've got the dogs and the wolves howling at the moon. And then this here is also from a vintage camping book on things to do while you're camping and to watch out for bats. And this here, because purple is also a Halloween color, this is a vintage, you can see the great foxing around the edges there, a vintage sewing tracing paper. And this one was unused. I love that. And it's so hard to find purple vintage ephemera. And this here is just a wonderful piece from the 1800s. It was an interior book plate. And I just liked that it was this deep, deep burnt orange. And you can journal on the back of that. And I tucked it inside this 1920s, so 100-year-old. I just want to be very careful because it's so old and a little brittle. I'm just going to leave it out. I'll put that back in, I promise, later. Little snap card here, 100 years old. And this is awesome. This is from 1949, and it's from Theater Arts Magazine. But look at these costumes they're wearing and the creepy kind of people here, and very, very Halloween-y. I love it. And I've had that for years in my Halloween folder. And even though she's not scary, she was on the flip side. So she was so beautiful, I didn't want to cover her up. This here is a vintage data card. And there's only one little piece of data on it. Here, there, actually I'm in the corner there. But it's orange, so it had to go in the Halloween journal, of course. And there's the rest of that highlights cover there. This is from 1940, Paris, France Almanac page. And look at this great spider image there from May 23rd, 1940. It's just wonderful. Love it. And this is from a stamp collector's book. It was a tab divider, but it's got this beautiful gold and it kind of looks spider webby. Love it. And this here also from the Paris, France Almanac. But look at this one. How amazing. And if you Google Translate this, and that's really easy to do. I can even help you if you don't know how. There's a little game here, magic game, and then advertisements in French on the back. Just how perfect is that, right, for Halloween? Oh, I love it. And then this is a vintage song called Song of the Ghost Dance. And this is one of my vintage index card tabs. Excuse me. Number 215, hand stamped there. I love that. I couldn't have replicated that if I tried. And an authentic, of course, 1950s bingo card, 10/31, October 31st. And you can journal on the back of that, and it just happens to be orange on the back. I did not plan that, it just happened. And then this here is wonderful, also from the 1920s. It's called the Fairyland Pageant. But look at all these little kids in their costumes. How great. Another wonderful Halloween image here from 1956, my Bookhouse series. And then over here, I've got this 1930s photograph framed. That's original. Two girls in their costumes. And it looks to me like they are dressed up maybe as gypsies. And then on the back is just a cottage. I could not remove it without completely wrecking it. So you get two for the price of one there. Two great, almost antique photographs. A great vintage Halloween page here, and another one of these wonderful crochet coasters done around a rubber canning jar seal. Another 1956 one here, and this here is from the 40s, and just a great little Halloween image there from a school book. Now this here is a pocket from an antique book. It says Haunted. Now, I love this. It's probably my favorite thing in the whole book. When you open it up, and I see this a lot. So it's a photograph, and they have this almost a wax papery kind of piece here, a very thick vellum, but it's done in a spider web. Can you see that? And I don't know why they do the spider web, but there are spiders there, and I've seen this over and over again in antique photos. And isn't she, yeah, she's very happy, but not scary at all. But I love that spider paper. So that goes in the Halloween journal. And here is just a great piece from 1925 from an art education book. And we've got the crows up there and all the different sort of Halloween-y designs there. And look at this one. I really like this. I did add the color to the eyes here, this black cat. And that is from early 1900s. It's from 1927, actually, that one. And then we've got, this is, believe it or not, from Birds of America was the bat page. There's about 5 pages on bats in this book. And then this here I put in because it's called Spider Flowers. So just because it's a Halloween journal, it doesn't mean it can't have pretty things in it and photographs. I just love this here. This is also from, this is actually from the 40s, 1948, from the Enchanted Lands book that I long since made into a journal. And then we've got a nice black cat here from early 1900s school book. And then this is all pocketed on top of this great black, that is a hardcover of an antique book that didn't quite make it. So I just made it into a page. So you can journal on there and just enjoy this really cool piece here from 1956. This is from a different book. This, I believe, is from the Audubon book on birds. And look at how gorgeous this is. Very, very old. This is from the late 1940s, but we've got the crows and the ravens there. Gotta have them, right? Skeleton, that is also from, I'm gonna say that's from a vintage book from the 40s. And then this is actually from the early 70s, How to Make Creatures at Night Out of Paper. There's another bat. We got a lot of bats and things in here. Oh, it's just so wonderful. And we have another wizard and a castle and a magical story. And here we have a werewolf and a ghost. And this I cut out of one of those Birds of America books just to give it some fussy cutting fanciness. This is from 1904 Birds of America, and that is the raven as well. And to give, it's very brittle, so I gave it some sturdiness by putting another 1956 page here on Halloween from my book house. And then look at this one. This is from the 1930s, but look at this gargoyle. You can't get more Halloween than that. Isn't that amazing? I'm just surprised at how much stuff I could find over the year to put in here. Now, why is Snow White in here in this little paper doll cutout piece? Because that was one of the most popular girls' costumes over the last century, was Snow White. And this little book page here is called Jack-o'-lantern. That's from a different antique book. This is from a vintage book here. And this I pulled out of a 1950s cookbook because it has pumpkin pie on it. And pumpkins and Halloween go together, of course. And then this is another one. I have 3 of these plates from 3 different books, actually. But this one is fantastic. Again, early 1900s, pre-1920. And she's opened the box and all the spirits and bat people are up here. It's very cool. There's another kind of goblin-y person. Another 1950s page on Halloween. That is from 1927 there. And then this is spectacular. Look at this early 1900s plate. Can you see the werewolf here? It's a wolf, but I'm calling it a werewolf for the purposes of this journal. But look at how awesome that is. And at night with the stars, it couldn't be any better. It could not be any better. A little bit about the raven here. This is another one of these coupons, and because it's orange, I wanted it to be in here. And this is a party game you can play at Halloween parties, and that brings us to the end. So I hope you love it as much as I love making it. You can find this and other journals of mine at hyperstamper.etsy.com. Please subscribe, leave me a comment, and come back soon. Bye for now.